Okay, guys, today ABC did an interview with a student with over $150,000 in student loan debt. Let's hear what they had to say.
Jonathan McGee, a graduate. He got his undergrad from Western Illinois University, his master's from Georgetown University, and his MBA from Loyola. You got a lot of degrees, brother. Listen, I want to ask you
George
here.
Washington, too.
Gotcha. Well, look, you've been following this closely. You heard today's ruling. I mean, how does this decision personally affect you?
Well, as someone, Alex, with significant student loan debt, over $150,000 in student loan debt, I was looking for this lifeline, quite frankly. I work every day, but, with the economic conditions, with inflation, it was something that I looked forward to. I've worked in the public sector. I've tried to get the public service loan forgiveness, and quite frankly, higher education is just too expensive. And so, it's a bill that I've considered now a bill for life, and that shouldn't be the case.
Well, and look, I mean, this also comes on the heels of that affirmative action decision. I'm curious, I mean, do you think that race played a role in your admission as an undergrad or as you were working towards your MBA?
Alex, I've gone to 3 predominantly white institutions, and most of them had small populations of students of color, especially Black people. So I'd be crazy not to think that it played a factor. And in many cases, those obstacles would have been there if we did.
This is really sad. This young gentleman said that he would be crazy not to believe that affirmative action played a role in his college admissions. Now, he went to, as he said, 3 predominantly white college schools. So do you not think that you just working hard, you've worked hard to get to where you're at? You don't think you just got there because you worked really hard? You think it's just because you're Black? That's really sad. And, as far as the student loan debt, you got $150,000. Well, if you take somebody like me, instead of taking that student loan debt and going and getting a degree that obviously was not worth it and can't even pay for itself, I went and got in debt too, but I got in debt and bought me a little piece of land, and now I'm 30 years old and I have it paid off. It's mine. I see, it looks like to me, you are sitting in an apartment. Instead of paying rent every month, you could pay a house payment every month. It's really that easy. Pay the house payment every month, and then when it's done and over, you own it. You got to pay taxes on it. That's it. Instead, you just continue to pay rent and live in an apartment, and all that money is for nothing. Let's go back and see what else they have to say.
Didn't have an affirmative action policy in place. This is devastating. I got a little brother, I got a little sister, who all want to go to college and be in college. And, we know that education is the key economic driver for opportunity. And so, my mom's an educator. We all love higher education in college. And it's unfortunate that it's not only cost prohibitive, but now race can play a role in whether you'll be admitted into a university of your choice.
Okay. Affirmative action is literally saying that your race will play a role in getting accepted. All they're doing is undoing that. Say that if it doesn't matter who you are, Black, white, yellow, orange, it doesn't matter. If you work hard, you can go anywhere.
Switching gears back to the student loan relief, what's your payment strategy going forward to pay off this debt?
That's a great question, Alex. I think for me, of course, trying to budget and figure out how to implement this new bill because we've been having relief for the last 2 years. Thinking about investment strategies, I've started to think about ways that I can put money in the stock market and 401ks and high interest accounts and maybe try to use that interest to bring it down. But the fact of the matter is Alex, when you owe as much as I do, the interest alone is just going to continue to keep you in debt, right? And, that impacts whether I can.
You made that choice to sign the paperwork to go into that debt. Just as I made the choice to sign the paperwork to go into debt on this property, you made the choice. You signed the papers. That's on you, and you have to pay for that. And like you said, you've been getting relief the last 2 years. Do you realize that is the taxpayers paying for your college debt? I mean, somebody like me who went into debt and bought property instead, and now I have to pay for your student loan debt.
Buy a house, if I can buy a car. And again, it feels like, this burden that is very hard to get rid of, no matter how much money you make, right? So, that's my strategy. I don't know how great it is, but, of course, also looking at my employer and trying to figure out if there's any options there.
Yeah. Well, and Jonathan, I mean, you highlighted this earlier. I mean, you come from a family of educators. I mean, you've got siblings. But, I mean, how important is education to you? And, I mean, do you think the education's worth the cost?
Let me stop you right there before you ever even speak. It's not worth the cost. And I can tell you, because you're on here wanting everybody else to pay for your education, when someone like me who didn't go and get higher education is out here surviving just fine.
The education is very valuable. It's the reason why I've seen the success that I've seen.
And there you go. The education is very valuable. Well, if it's that valuable, it would be paying for itself. Interest, no interest, I mean, it doesn't matter. It would pay for itself if it was valuable.
Today, we know as Black people in America, you already have significant barriers. And education is the way to break those barriers. And for me, it's very tough to see an environment where, I could be successful economically, socially, and professionally if I did not get a chance to go to Loyola and get my MBA in business, if I didn't get a chance to go to Washington and get my degree at George Washington. And quite frankly, I found my passion at Western Illinois University 4 hours outside of Chicago. So it played a huge role in my success. And it's unfortunate that other young men of color like me are going to have to face additional barriers as a result of this ruling. It's unfortunate. It's devastating. And I think we need an active Congress, quite frankly.
Well, Jonathan, I appreciate you taking time to share your experience with us today.
Thank you so much, Alex.
I wish this young man all the best. But you made poor decisions, and now you have to live with that. And now you got $150,000 in debt. I mean, at 18 years old, would you sign $150,000 for a house? At least it holds its value. It's valuable. I was going to say you could hold it, but for $150,000, it better be big enough you're not holding it. I'm just saying, the modern education system is ruined. It's over. Unless you're going to school to be a doctor, a lawyer, a farmer, then you're paying a whole lot of money for nothing. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what we do here at Ranching Oklahoma, make sure you leave a like down below, and we'll be back next time.